world is made up of a whole range of different weird and wonderful creepy crawlies, but they play a really important role in our natural world. They balance ecosystems and are important pollinators. Now, to tell us more about how important they really are, we need to chat to S4's very own zoologist and wildlife expert, Ali Peterson.
Invertebrates are any animal without a backbone. They make about 90% of all animals on the planet and are one of the most diverse groups of animals. They are things that are soft-bodied, like jellyfish and slugs, and they also include more hard-bodied things with exoskeletons like crustaceans and insects and other kinds of arthropods like spiders. Invertebrates are found pretty much anywhere on the planet, living in some of the most extreme environments too. They can be found in the tall peaks of the Himalayas where it's incredibly cold, to the middle of the Saharan desert where it can get as hot as 50 degrees Celsius. Invertebrates are recognised as being providers of ecosystem services. This means that within the habitats they live in, they provide certain roles and fill certain niches that help keep those environments healthy and functioning. So in summary, they're really important for the survival of many animals, including us. The study of insects and other kinds of arthropods is called entomology. They are a wonderful group of animals, and we have some really cool ones here for you today to get to know and find out some interesting stuff about them. What we have to start with this are two giant African millipedes. These are arthropods that are found on the rainforest floors of subtropical Africa. They are nocturnal, so they hide during the day and come out to look for food at night. They feed on decaying plant matter mostly. They are something called a detritivore, which is a kind of herbivore that only eats things that are dying, which is really good for the health of our ecosystems. I don't know if you can notice this one here is curled up in a little ball. This is one of their defense mechanisms because they have quite a lot of predators. Things like primates and reptiles will often use them for food. They will also secrete a really bad smelling liquid that acts as a deterrent for predators. Some lemurs will even chew on them and rub this liquid all over them to act as a mosquito repellent. So one thing when people first meet these guys that they say is this a centipede? And they're not, these are our millipedes. People often confuse them and can't tell the difference between the two. So what are the differences? Well, the millipedes, if you can see along these segments, which arthropods have because they have segmented bodies, one of the difference is in their legs. So millipedes per segment have 4 pairs of legs, whereas the centipedes only have 2 pairs of legs per body segment. The position of their legs is also very different. Millipedes have their legs directly underneath their body, like this, and they move in like a frilling motion, their legs undulate, whereas centipedes, their legs are straight out from them, and it brings their bodies closer to the ground, so it changes how they move. They're quite fast. The millipedes are slow-moving herbivores, whereas centipedes are actually predators. Their lifestyle is also very different. As we discussed earlier, the millipedes are detritivores, so they're a kind of herbivore that only eat decaying plant matter. So they're entirely plant-based, whereas centipedes are predators. They have jaws, and they usually have venom too because they hunt down their prey. They will actively ambush their prey to feed. So these millipedes have been great, but they aren't the only interesting creepy crawly that we have here at S4. When people hear cockroach, they tend to have a negative association with something dirty or unclean, but I am here to tell you that they can be just as fascinating as any other insect. We have here 2 Madagascan hissing cockroaches. They are one of the largest species of cockroach found on the island of Madagascar, and as with a lot of really fascinating wildlife, they are mostly exclusive to that island. We have a male and female here, and you can tell the difference between them because the males have these little horns on the front of their heads, and they also are the ones that produce that hissing sound that they're really famous for, which I'm going to try and get us to do now. That hissing sound that they make, though, that they produce, is used mostly for things like mating and when the males fight. Usually it's the winner that makes most of the hissing sounds because everyone loves a sore winner. The fascinating thing about this production of sound is that they don't do it in a way that's typical to most other insects. So usually when an insect makes sounds like crickets, they tend to be rubbing parts of their limbs together, rubbing their wings or rubbing their legs together. Unlike most insects though, these cockroaches actually produce the sound by expelling air through tiny little holes in their body segments called spiracles. And it's very unusual for invertebrates to be able to produce a sound like that. Something else really unusual that they do that most other insects don't is through their reproduction. So when the females successfully mate, instead of laying their eggs in the environment like you'd expect most insects to do, the females produce like a little egg cocoon called an ootheca, which they keep inside their bodies. And after about 60 days, instead of laying their eggs, they'll actually give birth to live young. That's something you'd expect a mammal to do, not a cockroach. So despite these being called creepy crawlies, there's actually nothing creepy about them, even with their unusual appearances and many legs and strange behaviours. What they are fascinating creatures that are really vital for the health of our ecosystems and really important for the world around us.
Well, Ali, I can honestly say that was fascinating. We've learned so much about creepy crawlies today.
Me and my beasties have loved it.
Oh, brilliant. Well, if you've enjoyed this video as well and learning about these creepy crawlies, let us know in the comments below. And if you're new around here, why not subscribe to our channel for more exciting science stories? Like this video, let us know what you thought, and we'll see you soon on the S4 channel. Bye!
Bye!